Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob, how's it going?
I'm Matt.
We are here again at Pico Mountain. Again, just a lovely little Vermont ski area.
Said it yesterday, I'll say it today. Pico.
Drastically overlooked.
Yeah.
And the three of us are skiing on the Bent 100. Obviously, I had that long trip report video from out in Utah. There we skied really the 120. I mean, I didn't ski the 100 at all out there. We did get to ski the 100 the week before, and basically the 100 and the 120 are the two bent or bent Chetler skis that change for 2025. And like, I enjoy changes like this where it doesn't feel like a drastic departure from what they did before.
Right.
So essentially we've got like more wood. I think that's the simplest way to describe it. Atomic's really pushing eco-friendly construction, so more wood, different fiberglass, different epoxy layup. The wood definitely does change the way it feels a little bit. One of the things that I really like about what they've done is in the Horizon Tech, which is also new, it's a little longer and shaped a little differently. The wood extends further into the shovel now, which I think just gives the ski more consistency. And we also got tail rocker.
Yep.
You know, there's not like huge changes to shape, but I think adding some tail rocker brings it into, for lack of a better phrase, the modern era of 100 underfoot twin tips.
Which there's a lot of good stuff in that category now, for sure.
Yeah. So you guys skied it. Actually, all three of us skied it in Stowe.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago. I have no idea. What was your take in Stowe?
As a previous generation Bent 100 owner, I feel like I have a nice platform to stand on going back and forth here. And you can feel the extra wood, that longer wood in the shovel. And it just feels like it has a thicker profile. So like you were saying, it's not a wholesale change, but like, what did we want to see this ski do better? Like a little bit more consistency, a little bit more stability.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to lose the playfulness and the versatility, especially when it comes to soft snow and trees like we're gonna do coming up. So didn't lose that, but gained a little bit of strength.
Yeah, I think so too. Matt, your take?
Something similar. As a previous generation Bent owner myself, I think that the addition of tail rocker has really brought this ski into more of a refinement area.
Yeah.
Like, it was already a tested and proven design to begin with. So I'm glad that they kept those same characteristics while boosting a little bit more playfulness. The longer wood in the tips and the tails definitely added a bit of dampness that I was looking for.
Yeah, I think so too. A little quieter.
Previous version.
Yeah.
So overall, I would classify it as a refinement of these awesome skis that we know and love.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You guys, when we were at Stowe, the two of you got to ski it like down Centerline and stuff.
Yeah.
I was on a Maverick 95 doing that, and then switched to these, I believe, when we went over to Spruce. And like the thing that sticks out in my mind is that run on like basically the beginner terrain at Spruce,
yeah,
where I was like able to get really wiggly like tail butter-ish things.
Yep.
And that was always something that like the previous ski could do, but you had to like fight the camber a little bit.
Totally.
So I'm really excited to ski them. We just skied, what do you call it? Summit Glade. We just skied Summit Glade, which is a classic like narrow New England run with a bunch of natural, maybe not a bunch of natural snow, but
it's all natural snow.
It is all natural snow.
A bunch of natural moguls.
So yeah, I'm personally really excited to ski it in that environment. Maybe we'll go do a couple runs up there and then go over to that race trail and test their torsional stiffness.
That sounds great.
So we're gonna head up another lift, go ski some fun terrain, and then we'll talk to you soon. That's going backwards.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm on a 178.
No, 179.
179. They're on 186s.
All right, so 1,600 vertical feet this lift, and it's pretty much top to bottom jumps. I would say that I followed you guys that whole run, that your skis were on the snow about half the time, which I feel like is a really good representation of what this ski is supposed to do.
I agree,
100%. And what it does
100%.
well.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy to see that. How did it feel?
Good. Yeah. I mean, it's still the bent 100.
Right.
You know, it's not like wildly different. I'm pretty tired. Like, we skied hard yesterday.
Yeah.
Longer, like a pretty long day. A lot of race turns in there, and my legs are pretty smoked, and I couldn't help but appreciate this ski the whole way down. And the thing that just keeps coming back up for me is the tail rocker. I'm just so happy that this ski has a little bit of a looser feel in the tail now. Really helps in terrain like that. Like, obviously you guys can tell from the weather that, like, we're not skiing perfect snow. It can get a little heavy in there. It's pretty firm underneath, and I'd say just borderline grabby in spots. And this ski just helps make it so much easier. I also, like, it's not powder down there, but it's fresh snow, and it's kind of heavy. Yeah. And like, just that little 180 I did, and like skiing through that stuff switch, I wouldn't have felt as confident on the old ski, because the tail is just, there's not as much rise, really. That's all it is like whether I was going switch or turning to and from switch. Really helped having this ski. I will say I could not keep up with Matt. So I'm really interested to hear from Matt.
Yeah, and before we move to Matt, I wanted to bring that up too. Going switch in that soft snow, I'm sure you'll be able to bring up the clip, but like you went backwards through like a swale, basically.
Yeah.
And I wasn't nervous, but I was like, oh, I wonder if he knows how much of a dip this actually is, and I'm sure the ski will handle it, and it seemed to do just fine. So I was happy to see that.
I'm glad we were both nervous in that situation. But it's like, I feel like that's the type of thing that I need to do on a ski like this to truly test its change. And I'm happy to report that feels great. And then, like, I do think it's more consistent, the whole flex of the ski. So that's my take.
That's a good take. And Matt, you did, like, following you make a different sound than Jeff. You know, you have a little bit more weight and younger legs, so like
I don't know how to take that.
I'm, you know, curious as to hear how you feel about kind of that upper end. You know, I think that both of us being former bent skiers, I certainly felt like it lacked some power from time to time and some stability. It didn't look like, it looked like an improvement to me.
I would totally agree. You know, in that run, I wanted to try to get loose a little bit and see how they handled that, because I know on the previous version, sometimes when things got a little bit not out of control, but you're finding that limit, they tended to get a little squirrely.
Yeah.
And these, I wanted to just see what it felt like if I just went for it. And I think that top end definitely got boosted up a bit.
Yeah.
And the other thing I just kept thinking of that whole run was, these things are just springboards. It felt like I was just getting a speed boost out of every little jump I got.
Yeah.
And like, I just kept going up.
So did you feel like more springiness and more energy, like ollieing off the tails?
100%.
Me too.
Yeah,
which is
difference.
Like counterintuitive, just thinking about physics and the fact that they added tail rocker.
Yeah.
You know, like normally like camber is what gives you that feel. So I definitely give like a ton of credit to that extended wood core.
100%.
I think they've
and the torsional stiffness definitely came through when I was trying to check speed on the backside of those icy mounds.
Yeah.
You could just check your speed really easily, and there wasn't as much give as the previous version, and they just felt at home. That's what I felt like. That was what these really shine in, and what they like to do.
I know, it's super fun terrain to test a bent 100 in. Yeah. Like, you get a little bit of everything in there. Bob, I took the camera from you.
That's okay.
Because I'm gonna film this next run, and I'm eagerly anticipating your mogul prowess.
You will see more grounded skiing out of me than the two of you.
That's what I'm eagerly anticipating.
I'm hoping to keep it as much surface area on the snow as possible unless something truly catches my eye.
I've always said that skiing is easier when you're in the air.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because you don't have to do anything.
Yep.
There were a couple of moments in that last run where I regretted that theory.
Well, visibility is a challenge, you know, of all the things that we're dealing with today. Like once you get a little bit of the ways down and your goggles get that glaze, it's kind of
tough.
It's tough. So.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at the top here. Do another run and then head over to that shorter lift and do some groomer skiing.
Sweet.
All right. I know I'm tired when I have to hold the GoPro with two hands because that's what I'm doing right now. Bob.
Yeah.
I'd give you some really good air scores.
I know, you know, it's nice to incorporate the jumps into the moguls.
Yeah, I agree.
Like we used to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a personal goal of mine for the year.
Sure.
And
air scores?
Air scores.
Pretty good extension on the spread eagle.
Thank you.
I don't know if the twister was full 90, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. Again, Hard to see what you're landing in these days.
Yes, it is. So what do we think, Bob? Mogul assessment.
I've never had a problem with any of the bents I've skied in moguls.
Yep.
And this is certainly an extension of that experience. Still just incredibly wiggly and maneuverable.
Yes.
Like for 100, you know, you're not, I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to ski moguls as quick as you can on 100 underfoot ski.
I feel like it's always been that way on this ski,
but the bents do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, certainly no loss of mobility with the new construction. You know, it's kind of, usually we're, you know, taking something out of one area and leaving something in another, you know, but this doesn't feel that way. And then with these softer moguls, you know, having that snow on top and in between, it is nice to have that width, you know, firmer. Yeah, the bent 90 is quicker and a little bit easier to maneuver and manage, but when it's soft like this is fantastic. So
yeah, like your fondness of the bent 90 as a mogul ski is not a secret.
Correct. And this certainly is just fine.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's not, it does way better than pretty much any other 100 out there in bumps from my experience.
Matt, things got a little loose on the second half of that run.
You could say that, yeah.
But was it loose but lit?
Yes.
Is that what the kids?
That's what the kids these days say.
Okay. Tell me about the lit part.
The lit part, you know what? They made that wood core a little bit thicker and a little bit longer, but that swing weight is still very low.
Yeah, you were getting them around pretty easily.
So easily. And that's something that I always appreciated about my old pair. And now I'm glad to see that that has stayed consistent through these new pair.
Yeah, actually, Atomic can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the swing weight is actually lighter. So as the wood is lighter than whatever was in there before, plastic or whatever.
Yeah, fiberglass or whatever.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you know, I'm gonna say the same things as I said on the last chairlift ride that we went up, but these things are just so quick and they are way more stable, not way more, but more stable than they have been previously when things start to get a little loose. Yeah. Instead of the lit.
No, I when I was following you on like the second half of that run, I kept thinking about that. Like, it's not that the previous ski was unreliable, but I feel like this is a little bit more reliable. Like it's like a little bit of a get out of jail free card.
Totally.
Like,
very,
you know, not to point fingers at your skiing, but like a couple backseat landings and like the ski just got you right back in the front of your boots, which I thought was sweet.
Totally. Yep. And you know, we had a similar conversation with Enforcer, but they managed to push that top end up and make it more approachable and keep all the characteristics that we've known to love about these without making many sacrifices in other areas. So
yeah,
I think that is a real win for Atomic, and kudos to them.
I subscribe to that analogy, although I would point out that there is a stark contrast between Enforcers and bents.
No, 100%.
But I think the theory holds true, yes.
Yeah, like that discussion that we were having.
I know exactly what you're saying. I feel like it's always worth pointing those things out.
Absolutely.
That a
bent 100 is not an Enforcer 99.
Nor an Enforcer 104.
Correct.
Yeah. Lot quicker.
Yeah.
Playful. Really retains the playful nature. So we're back over here on this this little lift, our favorite Pico lift.
Yep.
Doesn't look like we've got like firm snow on the groomer like yesterday, but I figure we'll spin a couple laps here anyways and just kind of see how they do in a more groomed format.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need some stability to power through
some of this stuff. Yeah,
I agree. Will be a good test.
Yep. So we'll catch you in another lap. And yeah, so far so good.
So far so good. I agree.
I'm glad we did that. That was aggressive.
You gotta find the limit.
Yeah,
I feel.
Yeah. So it may look soft on camera, but it's firm underneath there, and that was cool. You know, I think like I tried to do something on this ski that it's not really intended to do. Like that was more of a, I kind of skied that upper section more like a new Maverick 105 CTI.
Right.
But still not bad. And I actually think like it is slightly stronger than the previous ski when you're doing stuff like that. Like doesn't get bounced around as much.
Yeah.
Matt, you look pretty good down here.
Thank you.
How'd it feel?
No, it felt great. No, to your point there, these I definitely feel like do not get as deflected as sometimes they used to.
Yeah.
But they felt really strong on that firm stuff underneath.
Yeah.
And then was able to push through that kind of wet, heavy stuff that was on the top.
Yeah, I was impressed by that too.
Yeah.
I think like the new Horizon tech is really cool. I think they did a great job redesigning that. And then yeah, just like we've been saying, extending that wood just gives it a little bit more consistency and reliability, kind of like going fast through that stuff.
Yeah, totally. And I felt totally confident just standing on my edges and just letting them do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a big win. So.
And you got to remember what you're on too.
100%.
You're not on a 105 CTI.
No, exactly.
You know, it's like, it's a different thing, and you do have to let that Horizon tech do its thing and just kind of skip along because it's not gonna engage in firm snow.
Right.
You know, you really do have to, if you want to make stronger carved turns, you do have to stand in the middle of it.
Mid-footed for sure. And like, it's not designed to be like really torsionally stiff in the shovel and like pull you into a turn and have a lot of hold. So I think it's totally fine. Again, I gotta give a lot of credit to that tail rocker on that little slashy 180 thing I did. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that going that fast, and the ski just gave me a lot of confidence. So I certainly appreciated that. Obviously we're on the lift again, so we got to do another run. Maybe we'll Bob, I'll point the camera at you this run, and then we can just kind of share our final thoughts at the bottom of this pitch.
That sounds lovely.
All right, Bob, that looked great.
Yeah, again, you still just you have to remember what you're on.
Yep.
You know, like certainly where it gets a little chunkier and you're pushing a little bit harder at higher speeds, like that's when you feel the tips not be as confidence inspiring as something bigger. We had mentioned the Enforcer 99, like something like that. You know, something that's really designed to be a crud cutter at high speeds. This does a fair job.
Yeah.
And you just have to consider what it does exceptionally well in.
Right.
Balance that against a slight drop off in that type of performance.
Yeah, and there's no, I don't think a ski exists that does everything. Like that's the common question is like, I want a ski that's loose and playful in the trees and can rip GS turns. It's like, well, that doesn't really exist. You know, you're always making sacrifices somewhere, and I think considering the rest of Atomic's line, it's perfectly fine to make the sacrifice on a groomer.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, you can feel the hard snow underneath there.
Yep.
So it's an interesting, you kind of feel like the acceleration and then deceleration. So it's interesting to see how a ski this light and mobile handles that type of snow conditions, which, you know, if you ski in an area where you get frequent snow and like variable, you know, conditions, and you know, sun can affect snow and wind and stuff like that. So if you're skiing in an area that has that type of variable conditions, like you need something that holds up really well. Yeah. Like you know, this isn't the best option for that, but it does just fine, especially given what we've kind of pointed out already as the big benefits.
Yeah, and I'd say one of those things that's like speed and skier weight dependent. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure I feel more stability in this ski than both of you guys.
Yeah, I was, you know, I'm always like slightly worried when they take something that I like in a 188 and make it a 186.
Sure, yeah.
I haven't found it to feel different. I don't know if you have the same. I can't tell.
No, I can't tell
can't
either.
tell.
No, even with that added tail rocker too.
Yeah.
And a shorter length.
Yeah.
I don't feel it. But I do think that they feel better at cutting through the crud if you ski them a little bit more centrally. Not driving the tips as much as some other skis like the Forza 99 or something like that need that.
Yeah.
These, if you kind of stay a little bit more in the center, they felt better to me.
Yeah, just kind of let the ski do its thing, or like
Yeah.
you were saying, like let that Horizon Tech
Yeah.
do the job that it was designed to do, and just like stay and skip over things, because that's kind of what got me on that first run on this little lift, is trying to weight the forebody of the ski too much, and then like that's not what it's designed to do.
No, like the lighter on your feet you are, I think the better you're gonna do in that situation on this ski.
We don't have much lift left here, and we'll probably end it here. And the last thing I wanted to mention is mount points. So the bent 100 and the 90 as well, I mean really the whole line, but particularly the 90 and the 100 have always had such a huge range of mount points. And I personally have always preferred skiing them at +6, which is the furthest forward mount point, definitely the most park and freestyle inspired mount point. All three of us are on the 0 line right now. So there will be more testing, which I'm looking forward to. We've got a pair back in the office in Stowe, and I think it's going to be really fun to kind of like move that binding a little bit further forward on the demo track. There's a limit to how far you can go because the heel runs out of space, but that's one thing that we're not really testing here is the park application, and something that I personally am very excited to test. Again, largely because of that increase in tail rocker. I'm just excited to see what it does. And it is a directional twin tip.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's important to remember, is it's not going to be as good in the park as some skis with, you know, more symmetrical side cut, more symmetrical rocker profile, stuff like that. But perfectly legitimate for somebody who likes to ski trees, like to ski the whole mountain, and wants some park performance. And yeah, we got to get off the lift.
Okay.
We gotta go.
So let us know if you have any bent 100 questions. Let us know if there's anything you want us to do or you want to see for yourself. Because again, we'll continue testing these things. I'm in a predicament here. Okay.
You're doing
We're
great.
good. We're good. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.